What if I told you that there was a company that laid off over 400 employees in 2 minutes through a pre-recorded Zoom call? If you don't believe me, then you're in for a surprise. We all know that the last couple of months have been uncalled for. Since we've had to stay at home, many businesses aren't operating regularly. Due to decreased cash flow, many businesses have had to lay employees off. At the time of this recording, over 30 million Americans have filed for unemployment, which represents 18.6% of the US labor force. It seems that retail and hotel businesses have been hit the hardest, with companies such as Kohl's, Marriott, and Macy's having the highest number of layoffs and furloughed employees. There have also been numerous tech companies that have been struggling. Since people aren't traveling as much, Airbnb hasn't had many customers looking for a place to stay, and since no one has anywhere to go, Uber has had to lay off employees as well. However, some companies are handling lost business better than others. Airbnb, for example, has set up at-home experiences, hosted completely online, so you can listen to live music or learn something new without going outside. Other companies have furloughed employees, meaning that they are on temporary leave. Now, the company that has handled this the worst, by far, in my opinion, is Bird. Bird is an electric vehicle sharing company. They focus on scooter sharing, similarly to Lime. You can download their app and access all of their scooters at an affordable price. Over the last few years, they have received over $760 million in funding and are currently worth approximately $2.5 billion. A few months ago, they had about 1,000 employees. As a startup, it can be hard to have cash reserves, and since no one is outside using Bird's scooter, they have had to cut costs by laying off employees. Except the way that Bird decided to go about these layoffs was quite odd. It all started with an invitation to a Zoom webinar titled COVID-19 Update. What was weird was that only some employees were invited, around 400 or so. When these employees joined the Zoom call, there was nobody there. For the next 5 minutes, employees stared at a single slide with a dark gray background that said COVID-19. The vibe was eerie, and nobody really knew what was going on. And then, out of nowhere, people heard a voice.
I also want to acknowledge that, like most everything we're experiencing right now, this is a suboptimal way to deliver such a message.
It wasn't their CEO or any executive, and it wasn't even live. A pre-recording began with the voice of a random woman that told everyone in the call that they'd all be losing their jobs.
COVID-19 has also had a massive impact on our business, one that has forced our leadership team and our board of directors to make many extremely difficult and painful decisions. One of those decisions is to eliminate a number of roles at the company. Unfortunately, your role is impacted by this decision, and Friday, April 3rd, will be your last day with Bird.
And that was it. The only programming people got afterwards was that they had to return their laptop, the same laptop that delivered them this tragic news. People were infuriated. How could a company be so scared and immature that they have to lay off all of their employees with a pre-recording, and a pre-recording that wasn't even from an executive? And in my personal opinion, this was extremely unprofessional. A company's two most important components are its brand perception and its people, and Bird managed to harm both. Not only did you lay off your most talented employees, you did it in a way that was unempathetic. People now aren't going to want to work for this company because they know how Bird treats their employees. So let this be a little lesson for other companies. Always treat your people with respect because they make your company. And while this video isn't sponsored, the next time I rent out a scooter, it will definitely be a Lime. That's about it for this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you in the next one.